Okay, it is January 4th, 2023, and it's 7:07. I'll call the Board of Health meeting to order. We have 2 appointments and then a number of other items of business. But first, I'd like to announce some items to be potentially added to the agenda as they were not reasonably anticipated by the chair 48 hours in advance of the meeting. Oops, and before we do that, we need to take a roll call vote. I will note that Matt Vitale is not able to attend this evening, so I will be chairing the meeting. So Daryl Beardsley present.
Matt Beavers present.
Lisa present. Honeywell present.
Okay, and so all votes will be roll call vote also, since this is a Zoom meeting, remote meeting. All right, so regarding those items to potentially be added, we have some permit renewals. And the reason for adding them within the 48 hours is because it would be timely to do so for those establishments. So do we have anything else that people would like to add to the agenda? Okay, and would anyone like to make a motion to add the items in blue for additional permits?
So moved.
Seconded.
Any other discussion? Hearing none. I'll vote last. So Matt, you'll be first.
Oh, sorry. Got used to again. Matt Beavers. Aye.
Lisa, I.
Rebecca?
Honeywell, I just needed to unmute it. Took a second.
Okay. And Daryl, aye. So our first appointment was with Chris Owen, but I do not see him on unless any of the non-full name. So it doesn't sound like he's here now. So let's proceed with some other items. Let's take the 2023 installer permit renewals for approval. So it sounds like both of these are renewals. So Mark, is both C. Mayo Excavating of Ashland and Big Excavation Corp of Walpole, are they both in good standing? Oops, is Mark still on?
Yes, I'm still here. And
Okay.
yes, they both are in good standing, so they're okay to approve.
Okay, so do we have a motion to approve both of these entities for installer permit renewals for 2023 conditional to pre-construction conferences with the health agent?
So moved.
Second.
Any other discussion? Hearing none.
Matt Beavers, aye.
Lisa, I.
Rebecca, you're on mute.
Rebecca Honeywell, I.
And Daryl, aye. And for food establishment permit renewals, and I did get a chance to discuss this one for the Unitarian Universalist Church with the food inspector, and let me just bring up the file for that. I'll just point out one thing. Tom says that this is ready for approval, but should be conditional to having the designated person in charge be added to the application prior to release of the permit. So do we have a motion to approve this permit, subject to that condition.
And sodium posting. You need the sodium
Oh,
posting.
yes, and a sodium posting. Oh, thank you.
I will move that with the addition of sodium posting.
Second.
Okay, any other discussion? Hearing
Well,
none?
Can I just
Oh.
ask a dumb question? I mean, so this has Heather Walker. Is she not the same as a person in charge?
Yes, she could be, but he said that just really needs to be
Oh,
down here
Okay, okay,
in section 12.
got it.
So it's a minor administrative amendment.
Okay, so I'll second Matt's motion.
Okay, any other discussion? Hearing none?
Matt Beavers, aye.
Lisa, I.
Rebecca Honeywell, aye.
And Daryl, aye. So minutes for approval. I will note that I'm only partway through the December 21st minutes, because with the holidays, they just didn't come in until recently, so I haven't had enough time to go through them. And
Yeah, no.
Agreed. I haven't looked at them at all. I mean,
Me
like,
neither.
this afternoon when they came in.
Yeah,
they look reasonably good, so.
that'd be nice. Ellen, did you get I found that I sent you the wrong file. So did you just get the corrected file for the December 7th?
Oh, let me check. I hadn't seen.
I just sent them to you.
Yeah, I have it.
Great.
Haven't opened it, but I have it.
Yeah,
Thank
no,
you.
it's the correct one. Sorry, I sent you the wrong one.
Yeah. So what I'll do is I'll incorporate that into the 2 maps edits, and then I'll resend them out to everybody so that you'll look at them, and if any further edits can still be made.
I don't think I can spend one more second looking at them, to be honest.
So what do other people
What
would,
are you proposing? I had a second death in my family. So I would love more time to go through them, because I'm going to need to listen to the recording based on something that's in there. And it would be beneficial to have a little bit more time to do a better job.
Which
So
one are you talking about? Which minutes?
7.
Okay, because.
And I guess I haven't seen your edits either, Lisa.
Oh, well, yeah.
And
They're
the previous
they're
version was
extended.
unintelligible, so.
Yeah, they literally, like, there was nothing correct in it. But I will add, Rebecca, that Matt and I all corrected those minutes by literally playing the YouTube video verbatim. So
Right, that's what
So
I
it's-
plan to do, but I need to listen to one section, and our chair is asking me to respond, so I have to listen to the recording before I can approve those minutes.
well, yeah, just wait anyway, though, because we
Yeah.
we
Yeah, just
spent
wait
a lot
to
of
see the
time-
updated version, because
Yeah,
it's,
we spent a
I
lot
essentially,
of time.
I did the first 5 pages and I essentially rewrote the whole thing. So
Yeah, it
it's
took me
worth,
like
it's worth looking
hours,
at the updated
hours.
version.
Yeah,
Okay, that sounds great to me.
so don't bother. looking
Okay.
at the-
That's what I was saying, is that I will, tomorrow, I'll try to go add Lisa's edits into the previous edits received. And I'll send those minutes out again to everybody, so you can all see them again.
Great. Okay, so I think it sounds like both minutes will get deferred to the next meeting. And if anybody asks for a copy in the meantime, they can get a draft.
that sounds reasonable. I think it's sort of unusual circumstances that we had to do the heavy editing, and then with the holidays, it's also complicated, just the timing of this. So I think we'll be back on track shortly. Okay, and then agenda items for the next meeting. I do have one, and that would be that the groundwater discharge permit renewal for Whitney Farms is coming up, and there's a comment period, but we would be able to address that at the next meeting if we have any comments for them. And I do have a comment that I might want to submit, but
Okay,
let's see, does anyone have, aside from these minutes being moved to the next agenda, and I believe we have 4 hearings at the next meeting,
Yes.
Ellen?
yes, that's what I was just going to add.
Yeah. So we're going to be fairly busy. And if something else comes up, certainly let me or Matt or Ellen know. All right. Time are we at? I think we can do. We don't, okay, so we don't have Matt here, but I did communicate with him and he was saying that he's okay with where we've gotten to on the review of the regulations, and that, and I do agree with this next part, that perhaps it's time to send what we have to town council for their input. And then when it gets through that part of the process, it will come back to us for a final review, just to compare what we meant technically with whatever is adjusted by town council.
I would be interested in having some discussion among the board before it goes to the town council. There's one change anyway that I think is potentially endangering public health, and I don't really understand what the public health justification for it is.
Okay.
Let's
I
pull it
don't
up so you can show us.
Yeah, we can't discuss it tonight because it's not on the
Right,
agenda.
so, but I was. just
Wait,
saying
wait,
that-
yes, it is.
Oh, yeah, it is.
No, we
Oh, yeah.
have, we
One
do
part.
have these
One
on.
part.
So where? Do you have a
which-
copy that you've been referring to, Rebecca, that you want to pull up, or shall I?
Well, I told you I had another death, and so unfortunately I don't have it as well put together as I had hoped.
Well, let's
but
pull it up
I
because this is
can
like the
tell
4th
you
meeting
what
we've
the-
discussed it at.
Okay.
And
Yeah,
this is
what's
just
the
application
subject?
procedures. So why don't we, it
The
was on the
subject is
posted
in
materials.
the application process.
Okay,
The public health justification for removal of a site plan.
Matt, do you have a copy of that?
It's
handy?
in the materials. I can,
Oh, all right.
where was
Hold
that,
on.
Rebecca? Where was that removed, Rebecca?
In the application for a building.
Oh, I've
permit,
got it. I've got it.
The proposal to remove the site plan from the
Where-
application.
Where is that?
What it says instead is the application only needs to include anything within 200 feet of a proposed well, but we aren't requiring a GIS coordinate, so we can't confirm the accuracy of the location of a proposed well because we've decided to postpone that to a different
Wait,
time.
wait. No. First of all, it's GPS, not GIS, but we said that does need to be shown on the actual as-built plans.
I understand, but I'm just saying it's not part of the application process.
Right, because we don't need it as part of the application
Yeah,
process
so-
because
Right.
Excuse
So
me. Let me just finish my sentence and then you guys can talk all you want. It's my impression, the proposal is to remove the requirement for a full site plan. The other decision that was made after discussion of the board was to not include the GPS coordinates in the application process, but later in the process after it's been built. So it's after it's been built, so it's been built. So if there's an error or if there's something that could potentially be endangering or something that's unanticipated, which I wish I could say never happens, but does. If we are waiting until later to have some of those things evaluated or included, it's potentially too late. And if we are talking about public health, because we're supposed to be focusing on public health, I don't see what the public health justification is to not include a full site plan and all structures on the application for a
where do
building
you see,
permit.
where do you see that being removed, Rebecca?
Well, that's what I'm sorry, I had another death.
No, but I get it, but we never
I
removed it.
don't
We
have it
say-
together for today, but I can get it together for you in the next 48
Okay,
hours, but I just don't have it.
so hang on. Section 4, subsection A, subsection little b says we need plans. As described above in sections 341 and 342. We're not modifying 341 and 342. So there's been no change to the plan requirements. We're simply saying, so at no point did we say we're asking for less than we have now.
I agree with that.
Yeah, me too. And the only question was that should we have the GPS after the well is actually in? So they have to show, Rebecca, all of the relational structures. So we're not.
I
there's
understand,
no-
but it
there's
says
no
only,
impact on public health, though. I guess that's what I don't understand. The only thing we're saying is when the well actually goes in, so you know exactly where it is and can have accurate GPS coordinates versus before you put the well in, where they might hit a piece of ledge and they might need to move it, because that happens all the time.
right,
You
right.
don't, so the precise GPS coordinates can easily change.
I get
but
that,
what-
but we're
what
not
won't
having
change
that
is the-
conversation.
Yeah, well,
We already
That's-
discussed why that
Yeah, but-
is
but
that's the
valid to move it later. My concern is if we're only required to show in the application process, we're only required to show what's within 200 feet instead of the entire plan plus what's to within 200 feet. That could potentially.
I just don't see where you're seeing we made that
Risky.
change. We're
Well-
asking for the exact same plans we asked for before. We made
Which
no change to what's
includes-
required in the plan.
Which includes wells within 200 feet of the septic system. That's been the case for the hundreds of
It's possible
plans
that
that we have reviewed over the last X number of years.
okay,
I think that, I think that nothing has changed here, and I apologize you haven't had a
Yeah.
chance to look at it, Rebecca, but I don't think that that's.
well, I
been a
did look at
change
it,
we
but I
made.
didn't have a chance to go back and confirm carefully and write it out and make sure that
Okay.
I was accurately interpreting it. And so that's why that's where my question, it was a question, and I just
Okay.
wanted to have a conversation as a board.
Okay,
Or
so
as-
what I can tell you is that we made no change to the requirements on the plan. Here, because the plans are described in a different section.
No, it's for the application process.
Yes, and the application process says in section A, subsection little b, the plans are required as described in sections 341 and 342 above. We didn't change 341 or 342 at all.
So it still would require the full site plan,
Yes,
not just, so I misread it when I thought that you were just requiring what's ever within 200 feet radius of the proposed well.
it's everything that was in the existing regulations, and so it's everything we currently are asking for.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, so that's the technical clarification on that. All right, that said, where were we?
Were there any other concerns with this, or
Yeah.
should we send it to town council?
I'm ready to send it to town council.
I would agree.
That was the only concern, and if it's not actually an issue, then it's not, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, we didn't change the plan description because we didn't edit that section. Okay, so I guess I would make a motion that we send this to town council for review.
seconded.
And just to clarify, we'll do it in two parts. This is for the changes in application procedures to town
So
council.
what's the change then?
The changes are as indicated here, and they're indicated by changes in italics and bolding according to
The
a
bottom
formula
line,
that,
yeah, the bottom line changes, we're just saying you have to have everything at once when you apply. So it's saying that when you apply for a septic, you must have either a well permit or an existing well, and vice versa. And basically it's just listing, it's codifying what we've always done, which is that we need the Concom approval, we need the location of the existing well and everything at the time of application, so that we don't get an application for a well and then later an application for a septic, or vice versa. If that makes sense.
Okay, thank you.
and And I do believe everything we do is with the goal of supporting and enhancing public health. So we are not ignoring it. We do that at every single one of these
Oh, yeah,
meetings
no, I
and
just
in
wanted to
between
make
all of the
sure
meetings as
we
well.
didn't inadvertently do something that could be overlooked.
All right, so is there any further discussion? Hearing none.
Matt Beaver's eye.
Lisa, I.
I probably should abstain because I haven't done a proper review.
Okay, you have been present at the prior meetings where we've discussed this,
I
so
know,
that's
but
up to you.
I've had 2 deaths and there's
Yeah,
been a
sorry.
lot happening, very close deaths, like not far
Un-
away.
Understood. Sorry,
Yeah,
sorry to
so
hear that.
I just need to do a better review.
Okay, and Daryl Beardsley, aye. Then the other set of regulations is the well regulation language.
So I think here we hadn't actually made edits. We just wanted to review to make sure it was consistent. Is that correct?
There were a few additions to it. Unfortunately, what I haven't done, otherwise I'd pull it up now. I still have it in track changes in Word version. as
I
opposed-
wasn't thinking of that. I thought this agenda item was because there was some concern last time about the way we were describing a well for drinking versus irrigation use, and it was just a reference to section 10.1, and so we wanted to review 10.1 specifically to make sure we were consistent rather than the
yes.
overall well
Yep,
regulation.
thank you. All right, let's see, hold on, sorry. I wasn't expecting to. Oh, sorry, it's 7:30. I'll pull that up in a moment, but let us go to our 7:30 appointment, which is to review the plans for 58 Oldfield Drive. And let's see, do we have, I see that we have Mr. Siddiqui, and do we have Piercy's here? Is that the other guest?
Yeah, they're online.
Okay, great. So let me pull up the plans and we can go over that. All right, I think this is at the crux. Mark, would you like to give a little bit of an intro into what's brought us to this point
Sure.
of
And
review?
I think Ellen sent out the minutes as well from the past reviews. We have seen this plan before. Their attempt is to get an in-law unit within the house. We saw one setup that was more on the outside of the house. They've now decided to submit a new plan, the new building plan here proposal, and that is to look at the second floor for the in-law suite. The septic system right now is for the exact room count in the house. If they wish to go to new construction, they would need to replace that septic system with a conventional that could meet new construction. I am not for sure if I know they have not explored the rest of the property for that, but I believe they may have received some consulting from engineers on that part of it. So tonight we see the existing as shown, and also they have a plan to show what they wish to do with the existing second floor for the in-law suite.
Right, so here are the 5 bedrooms that exist now. And then,
A quick point before we move on to the proposed.
yes,
Just wanted to
okay.
show that on the existing, including the 5 bedrooms that are existing over there, there is unfinished attic space on the right side above the garage and above the existing family room on the first floor. Those rooms both have significant ceiling height, but they have differentiating floor heights. Considering this is going to be an in-law suite for aging parents, we want to make sure that we provide them a space that can be used as a single floor. And so that would inevitably make us raise the floor on the floor and the roof on the right side, the space that's right above the garage on the right side of the plan.
Okay, so there would be no longer a need for stairs, is what you're saying there.
Exactly, it would be all one level floor.
Okay. All right, and so this is one of the two options that you're talking about, but I think we can use this just for the general discussion.
This is the
Okay,
option
and
that
so- Mhm. Go
this is
ahead.
the option that the homeowners want to proceed with. This is also the option where we've taken out 2 existing bedrooms that are on the left side of the home existing, which would reduce the room count or bedroom count to 3 bedrooms on the left side, and inevitably allow us to add that 4th bedroom on the right side for the in-law suite. Plus the living space on the open living space, open floor plan on the right side where you have a kitchen and dining area / living area. So that's all open concept on the right side. And then the left room is that bedroom that we're talking about. So we're trying to do a 2 for 2 kind of thing where 2 bedrooms are removed and it allows us to have 2 rooms on the second story, lack of better words. What I've understood from speaking to Mark, that this is one of the first submissions that is ever proposed in Sherborn to have a second story in-law suite. So I believe this is kind of a curveball in the situation to and kind of have to discuss this further with the team on your end. But that's what we're hoping to do, is get the second story in-law suite, one, so that we don't have to excavate for or extensively excavate for a new foundation if this in-law suite would be detached or even an attached addition on the house on the back side of the house. And it helps with just the general cost of construction, which nowadays we want to make sure that all families can kind of move forward with the project, especially when it's really something that they need. Like I said, in-laws, parents, they're aging, they need the space sooner than later versus kind of keep on postponing it. Right now, they're in a tight quarters. It becomes really difficult to live in those situations or that environment. So we want to make sure that we can work with the Board of Health and kind of get the best approach and get this process rolling forward. I know that this is the second hearing that we've this project has gone through, and this is the first time a second story proposal has been proposed. We believe that this is a good median of trying to achieve the room count so that it works with the septic system, plus what the Board of Health is looking to have as far as the overall room count throughout the house, and also where it works with the client's needs for just living purposes as well as their budget.
If I can
Okay.
also add, Jamal and I did speak about exactly what he said. This is the first that I can remember for a second floor in-law. The other 2 items we did discuss was that we always consider the kitchen a separate room from the living room. So are we looking at 2 or 3? So that would be up for discussion tonight. And last, we always consider any room, not we, the Board of Health regulations state that any room above the second floor, above the first floor, and I apologize, any room above the first floor are considered bedrooms. So those items are up for discussion tonight.
Right, and I think we're going to have a bit of discussion this evening because this is complicated. I understand why you've proposed what you proposed, but there are 2 things. One, we do have our regulations that we try to be very consistent in, and once we start, it becomes a slippery slope to keep making exceptions and more exceptions for things. So that's one thing that is going to be a little complicated for us. And the second is that we look at the structures as they could be used. maybe not how people who are currently there are planning to use them. So the way that things get labeled here doesn't mean that that's covers all the possibilities for how they might be used. So for example, this new storage closet could be considered a bedroom. There are bedrooms in town, particularly in some of the antique homes in town, that's a perfectly fine bedroom. So, you know, there's a possibility for calling this part of a bedroom suite, which we have
So I
done
would
in
like
other
to-
cases.
So if we were
But-
to call that a walk-in closet for this new bedroom for the in-law suite, would that suffice? Because from our early on discussion with my discussion with Mark was that according to IRC 2015, in order to be legally considered a bedroom, you have to have a window, an egress window, which in this condition, there's no way to achieve an egress window just because the roof slope of what you see back, the roof that's on the back side of the house, the pitch of that roof would not allow for an egress window to work. Right now, the window that you see in the proposed bathroom on the top right is what is existing there. And that the only reason why that even works is because that's on the lower end of the roof pitch. So if anybody were to even consider converting that into a legal bedroom, they would have to rip out the roof of that existing cathedral ceiling breakfast area there, and then also put in a separate closet in there. There would be a number of things that would have to be done in order to be legally considered a bedroom. Besides the
So
point of the
this
square
was
footage.
a bedroom space previously though, correct?
So it was a bedroom because there is a legally sized egress window, which is now in that attached bathroom. So if you go to the existing plans, you'll be able to see that we've converted that existing bedroom to being a walk-in closet and
Yeah.
a portion of it being a bathroom attached to the new bedroom. That window that's there right now in the bathroom, the proposed bathroom, is the existing window, egress window for that existing bedroom, which is no longer there.
Yes,
And
okay.
there's no
So you-
real,
you shifted the
Understood.
window to the bathroom exclusively, right? Is that what you're saying? Like the window
Yes.
now?
that window is exclusively into the bathroom now.
Okay.
And there's no real way of putting an egress window in that new storage closet to ever convert it into being a legal bedroom. Because there's just, the roof pitches don't allow for an egress window to fit. So if even anybody wanted to put a window, there would be a much bigger project to convert that into a legal bedroom. Where that
Because-
entire
So-
backside
is
of the
it-
house.
Is it pitching down there? Like, so if you look at like where Daryl's cursor is along that edge, is that where the roof is pinching down? Like it's just,
So that
That
that-
line in the middle is the peak of the roof, right? Just above.
okay, okay.
exactly,
so
that
then
is the peak of the roof and it
it's
slopes to the
pitching-
right and the left.
Okay, got it. Okay.
Okay, there's also an issue of there is not always complete alignment between housing code and septic code. So that's, oh, excuse me. So, all right,
Yeah, so I
Even
mean,
with
that's part of the issue that just for background that our regulations don't use the sort of legal definition of bedroom to define a bedroom. And so that's why we're struggling with this a little bit.
Yes.
They're a little bit broader.
another issue is that there's an entrance here. And now when we've considered something a suite, it's when
Mhm.
there's only one way to access into rooms that are combined. And in this case, there is a
There's
way to
two.
close off these rooms here and then
Yeah.
enter from over here. So it doesn't quite meet the definition that we've had in the past.
Is that a door,
it's-
Daryl, at the bottom? Like, so move your cursor to the left. At the bottom of the new, is that a door?
Oh,
That
down
is an
here or
existing-
there?
Yeah, is that an existing, can you get rid of
That
that?
is an existing door. So the reason why we've kept that door is because, again, aging parents, if there is an emergency, we want to have the ability, or the homeowners want to have that ability that the kids can kind of approach their room in case of an emergency. If there's a health emergency, they can get there quickly. Otherwise, the only way to really get to that unit is that they would have to leave the house, go all the way around the house in order to get to that unit. So that door, majority of the time, is going to be in closed position, and it's only going to be used if there is an emergency where the rest of the family members have to get to the in-laws.
Right, so but there is now, you're saying there's an egress point out of what you're calling the storage closet. And there's a full bath, like, is there entrance to the full bath from the storage closet, or is that a hard wall?
No,
Okay.
there is no entrance from the storage closet to the bathroom. The only entrance to the bathroom is from the new bedroom. It's a pocket door that's going to be leading. So I can't annotate on this, but there is a pocket door. Yep, right there. That's the only access to the bathroom.
Okay,
And so what's the
Okay.
access to the in-law suite? I think we don't have the full first floor plan, so that's why I'm. What are the points of
There's-
access to the suite? There's a stair, which
Mhm.
So
goes
there is a
outside.
first floor plan. If you go to A2 or 3. Yeah, this is yep. So no, right down. Yeah. Right
Oh,
there.
yeah, sorry.
That's the proposed
Oh, got it.
floor,
Okay,
first
sorry.
floor plan.
Okay, so
So there
that's,
is going to be a small addition on the back just to allow for a new staircase and new
Okay.
entrance from ground level to go straight up to the second floor.
okay, so there's basically exterior access into the space from there, or from the carport, right? And then the interior access is from that door into the hallway.
That is
So the
correct.
storage closet, okay.
can you remind me, so what's the existing septic, Mark? How many bedrooms is the existing septic?
It's,
I believe it's at 5 bedrooms.
I was gonna say 5 bedrooms.
Okay, and so is there only, Daryl, was there only one room on the first floor? Like one legit room on the first floor?
We don't
there are
have
5
all
rooms.
those plans, but I think we have enough to talk about with this. But to do a full analysis, we would need to see the rest of the first floor and the basement.
I believe those were submitted early on. I think I kind of asked Mark early on also that the first or second submission that was done, there was real estate plans submitted along with the showing all the overall floor plan of the area, showing what room was being utilized for what.
All right,
the
maybe
last-
a little bit later, I'll see if I have them still on my laptop or not.
So
the-
what we have doesn't have like the complete, here is our current plan inclusive of everything. Because that.
Right, but
that's a lot
last time
easier.
last time we discussed this property, we counted 5 rooms on the first floor.
Yeah,
And there were 2 rooms in the basement that were gonna need a D recording. And so
Yeah.
if the first floor is not changing, we're at 11 or 12 rooms, depending on how we count the storage closet
Yeah.
by my count. If we're at
Yeah.
11, we're fine.
yeah,
So even if we count the kitchen and new living room separately, which we have always done and probably should do, that puts us at 11, so we're okay. If the storage closet is a closet, basically.
okay.
And so it
All right.
really sort
That's the
of,
crux of the matter.
that's the crux of the matter, yeah, because
Well,
even if we
there's
call
a
it a
little-
bedroom,
I was
even
gonna
if we
say
call it
the
a
other,
bedroom, we're still only at 5 bedrooms.
the other item we do need to discuss, because we look at other in-laws the same way, is do we want to count the kitchen and the living room as one room? We always say kitchens are a separate unit, separate function.
Yep.
So we would count it as 2 rooms there and the bedroom is 3. In the past, I don't know how you want to handle this one.
Yeah,
The
and
closet's
if we
something
do that, we're at 11 total rooms. If the closet is a closet, we're at 12 total rooms if the closet is a bedroom, basically.
So the only question here is that new storage closet.
But there are
If-
2 rooms above the first floor, and that becomes a little complicated. And here's and we could probably, although this is where
Oh,
it
yeah.
starts to just get very messy, we could start saying under certain circumstances, all of a sudden, a second floor room does not have to be a bedroom. I mean, we certainly have exemptions for bathrooms and laundries and that sort of thing. But this is just new territory. When it's connected to the rest of the second floor in this way. So this door changes that. This entrance coming up off of the, from the outside and up, I understand for safety reasons why you want that. But this complicates that interpretation, because here's how I see this house being potentially used in the future. this becomes a suite. This gets sealed off, and this becomes a studio accessory unit, in which case we would count it as a bedroom and a kitchen, which would be
6 rooms on
2
the,
rooms, and now,
Yeah.
right, now you're
you're up
just,
to 6 on the top, on the second floor.
So if it's the case of that door can't it be recorded in the deeds saying that
Well,
it
we
has to
cannot-
say like this?
We can only do so much, like, so we can't depend, certain types of rooms, like certain basement rooms, especially if there's no bathroom in the, basement, we can have a higher confidence level that they're not going to be turned into bedrooms, even though that's what the deed recording says. But when you're talking about an upper floor where there is clear access to bathrooms, etc., the propensity for conversion and the ease of that type of conversion is very different. So then the deed recording can become sort of a piece of paper versus reality. So I think that's the hesitation and the difference between like a basement space with no bathroom and not additional windows, etc., versus a second floor space that has all of those types of attributes. It's different.
So I think, I mean, I guess I get, the point about is, so just to sort of back up to what Darrell was saying, the point about like, do we call that new living a potential bedroom is fair, but I still think we end up, if there is a way, it still comes down to the storage closet, because then even if that's a bedroom and the closet is a closet, we're still at 5 total bedrooms. Am I correct? 1, 2, 3, 4,
Yes.
5. Yeah. And so we're still at 5.
1, 2, 3, 4. No, well, I thought the question that Darrell was asking is that 2 rooms where like the new kitchen and that other room is, or is that 1?
Yeah, so even if it's 2 rooms and the closet is a closet, then we're still at 11.
1,
Right, so
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, but 6
And there are
rooms
5
on
on,
the
and there are
second
5 on the
floor.
first floor.
Yeah, I guess.
and 1 in the
Mark,
basement.
2 in the basement.
Yeah, I mean, the basement has to be deed
2 in the
recorded. no matter
basement,
what.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you may need to well, you'll be changing the policy, not policy, the regulation about any room over the first floor being a bedroom. You will need to vote on that to consider the kitchen not being a room for the purpose of that definition, that any room over the first floor is a bedroom.
I mean, I think I'm okay calling a kitchen not a bedroom, the same way we call a bathroom not a bedroom. We've definitely seen bathrooms that are bedroom size before. I think for me, really, the issue becomes this closet. I know I keep saying it, but like if there's a way to sort of make it clear that that can never become a bedroom, and I get that it's legally not a bedroom, but that sort of isn't.
I mean, really, since it's a contingency plan, could you have another option for emergencies that you'd feel comfortable with? I'm presuming you're going to have all kinds of alarm systems, etc. Because if that door wasn't there, we wouldn't even be having this discussion.
I mean,
So if we were to propose that door to be closed, this situation would be resolved. Is that what my understanding is?
I think so.
Yeah, I think the comfort level would be greatly enhanced.
So here's an
Okay.
alternate that I just want to sort of throw out to the board for consideration. It might be similar to what we've done before, so I can't annotate, which is hard, but so if the door between what's labeled as new storage and new bedroom is removed, and basically there's a wall added, so basically the storage closet is only the height of the bathroom. Does that make sense? So basically it's just a hallway into that bedroom. So like right there. And so then that sort of makes it more clearly into what we've called a suite before, where there's a sort of a walk-in closet for the suite and then sort of a pathway into the new bedroom.
Mhm.
So
And
I
adding
don't
a
know if that
separate
would be
door.
acceptable to the applicant.
So where cursor is right now, remove that door and add a wall and a door pretty
There.
much where the cursor is now, and creating that into being a hallway.
Yeah. What is the
But
board?
would you
think
be
about that?
okay with retaining that door, the existing door? So
That would be, that, I guess that would be my
Yeah,
point,
I
is
think-
retain
I
that
think that
existing
can work.
door,
Yeah.
retain that door that
There
you're
wouldn't be a
cursor's on
sense of-
now. remove the
there wouldn't
other,
be a sense of privacy at that point, right? Because if somebody needed to get to their closet after going to using the bathroom, they would have to pretty much go into a hallway to get to there.
yeah.
Although that, I mean, from a space and distance perspective, it really doesn't change anything.
Doesn't really
Not
change.
distance wise, I agree. There's no difference by that, but a spatial privacy wise, I don't
But I
think
mean,
anybody.
isn't that door, what I guess my impression is that door is normally gonna be closed anyway, so they're, you know, it's not like, right? I mean, that's not.
We're not
it's not
saying
like-
remove this door, are we?
Yeah, we're saying the door is just gonna be, it'll
Yeah,
be there, but it'll be closed under normal circumstances.
It's
Okay,
no
so
different
that's
than the
my
privacy
misunderstanding.
now.
Yeah. So what
Okay,
I'm
no,
saying is
I
that,
misunderstood that.
Okay.
I misunderstood that. I
okay.
thought you were requesting to remove that door
No.
completely or just leave
No,
it
no,
this
no,
door.
open.
Remove
this
the
is an
other door.
alternative. Yeah, so that door, the door where the
So-
cursor is now, make that more of a hallway, right? And then the hallway leads into the storage closet, and then put like a, what were you thinking, Matt? Like a 4-foot high sort of,
I was gonna say a real wall, basically.
oh, a real wall.
ba-
Okay.
Basically a real wall there, because what it basically creates is it turns this into a suite where it more clearly, it makes it harder to carve that out as the storage closet as a private space.
Mhm.
And really makes it attached to the rest of the in-law suite. So
But
that,
you're
like,
talking about a real wall, like where where the cursor is now
no, a real draw it right there. Daryl.
below it.
No,
I
right
don't
where
know
she's
if I'm
drawing.
wedded
In
to the
line with
need
that
for a
wall where you have
wall.
the cursor, there would be a wall right there.
I'm not
where
sure
the
that's
cursor is.
necessary. I think, yeah,
Okay.
this door comes out
Right, then
and
it's
it's
just a
all
hall.
open.
Yeah,
and
then
it's
it's just
just
a hall.
open.
Yeah,
Okay,
And
that'd be, I
that
mean, that'd be
makes
fine
sense
with
to
me
me.
too.
yeah, that makes sense to me too, Daryl.
that makes it a better suite
Mhm.
because, I mean, of course, this is a slippery slope for us. People do all sorts of things after we make rulings and they put the door back in, they make this a bedroom, then, you know,
Right, but
who
I think we
knows
can't,
what's
you
going to
know.
happen. I know that's not their interest, the current owner's interest, but
I mean, we
that's
also
what could happen.
can't sort of prevent people from doing unpermitted work. in the
No,
future.
we can't. So we just try and do our best to not set things up for failure where a septic system gets overloaded.
And I guess my rationale with the wall there is it adds another barrier there, but I'm not wedded to there being a wall there. I'm fine with it. I think fine with it sort of opening the doorway to the right of your cursor, opening
Yeah.
that sort of
Get rid of
completely,
that.
then that better defines this as a single suite, in which case I'm not calling that a separate bedroom, and I think it resolves the issue for me.
Yeah, and then the wall issue is an aesthetic one for them, I think.
Yeah, because like maybe they want their closets closed off. I think it would add an extra layer of protection to say no one's ever going to turn this into like a nursery or a small bedroom or whatever. But I'm not going to demand it.
All right, so.
I think it gets us within the realm of things we've done before and within the realm of what's covered under our regulations.
So I'm just going to throw this out there. We're not trying to dictate what you do, but another approach that would probably work is this would be a bedroom if this was closed off and if the ground floor, which I gather is currently a garage, was converted to being the living and the kitchen space, and then this was a bedroom. That would also be a workable option.
But that would be getting rid of 2-car garage on the house.
Could be, right, or relocating.
Oh,
That sounds-
that changes the whole
that's a-
demographic or
yeah.
whole environment of the project where you're converting a 2-car attached garage, which leads into the existing house. There would be a lot more work involved in that to reconfigure the first floor as well, whereas this is not touching anything on the first floor on the existing house and not even touching the garage. We're not doing a garage addition, we're doing a carport. Again, this is because of the cost prohibitiveness of even building a full car garage. The initial plans were to do a 3rd-car garage, but costs and whatnot kind of start adding on where you have to do further excavation and whatnot. This doesn't require any sort of excavation minus that small footing that we have to put for the new entryway. But I don't think that would be a viable solution for this project. I think the solution that you guys have presented we're removing that door and taking that threshold out between the new storage area and the new bedroom would be a good balance where the homeowners, I think, would be happy and okay with that solution where they can still maintain a large storage area. Again, we have to keep in consideration that the in-laws are moving from a single family house with a ton of their stuff that they have to kind of downsize and have that amount of space to store all that. It's not just going to be clothes and whatnot. They have to store all the belongings that they've accumulated over the years. So respectfully, we kind of have to give that space to them as well, rather than just like a 4x2 closet for just clothes.
Okay, so and our duty is to be respectful of everyone, including the occupants, current and future of this property, and neighbors, that the septic system is sized appropriately throughout the life of the septic system connected to the property.
Sure.
So that people are drinking appropriate quality water as best we can manage. So
Of course.
as much as, I mean, we can take, as I said, for us, it's all about the physical structure and how that relates to the septic and how that relates to potential future uses. So we try to be helpful, and we're trying here. But these really are things that I know it seems like a one-off, but you can't believe the number of times that we have these extensive discussions about something that you'd think you would never see again. And all of a sudden it happens and the boundary gets pushed and gets pushed and gets pushed. And so that's the hard part for us. So we're
Daryl,
trying to
can you
look ahead
share-
and say, what are the pitfalls that we might encounter? So that's why we wrestle with it, just so you know, from our side.
Sure. No, that's understandable.
Daryl, is there a chance you can share the minutes of December 2nd, 2020? I just want to make sure those minutes are accurate, because it does say that the relatives are living in the basement.
As of right now, they are. Yep.
Okay, I thought I heard they're living at a house, they had to move all their stuff over, so I wasn't for sure what was accurate.
I mean, it doesn't sort of matter.
And I agree.
Are living with the at 58 Oldfield Drive currently, but there's also a ton of stuff that's in storage right now. So it's
That's
right
fine.
now.
So I misunderstood what you said. December 2nd, Daryl, 2020.
Okay, so that would have been, oops. Okay, here, parents are currently in the basement. Yep.
That's fine.
No, they are in the basement, but they also have a ton of stuff. What I was trying to explain is they've already downsized from a single family home. They have a ton of stuff that they've accumulated over years, which is in storage right now. Obviously, you don't have enough room in the basement to kind of set up all that. That's the whole purpose of doing this project, allowing them to kind of have their own space and not feel like they're stuck to a basement, and they can kind of grow into this new space that's close to family, and they can grow within those means. So that's why I was saying we want to be respectful of that space for them, that they have enough storage area that can still be enough for them to have their clothes and then all the rest of the trinkets that they've accumulated over the years.
Right. To be fair, though, we've had people with all kinds of hardships, including disabled children and stuff. And as much as we have empathy for that, that's not germane, unfortunately, to our regulations. So we can have empathy and understand that. And, you know, I totally get that, but it's sort of irrelevant to the discussion about the
Totally
bed.
understand that.
Yeah.
So I
Totally
guess
understand that.
if we can just, so then let's sort of refocus on the
Yeah.
plan.
Right.
And
Yes,
if I can
and-
just maybe get a straw poll from people, do they feel like those modifications might make this?
I think they might. I'd still want to see the full set of plans for the first floor and the basement, because to accomplish this still means having a special provision of how we view the rooms in the basement, probably. I
Yeah.
can't say that with certainty without having those plans in front of us now, but
I think it
so
is
we
part of
would
the
need
submission
to,
that you have already from the previous December 2nd meeting. Those plans
Yeah.
were a part of that submission.
Right, but we need to look at it in totality, and so we're gonna need to review it again with the modifications that I think, you know, certainly make me feel more comfortable about the second floor, but we need to look at everything in concert with each other. But I do think that the suggestion we discussed tonight vis-a-vis the second floor layout, I'm definitely more comfortable with that proposal.
So I
Which
think what
meeting
we're-
do you think that we have the plans from?
Believe it was a December hearing. Brett, am I correct in saying that? Or the December 7th?
Oh, so that would have been a few years ago, not
No,
21.
December 2nd, 2020, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
I don't,
we
I don't have those
that.
files
Yeah.
at my fingertips.
Yeah.
I can't store all of that on my personal laptop. So,
If
all right.
you
So we
allow
can't
me
look
to
at that. We're
share,
going to have to look at that at another meeting then. And
But although it sounds
and a
like,
if I have the
verification that
plans-
that hasn't changed.
if I
So
have the
it's-
plans readily available, do you think I can share this screen? Because again, I want to
Yes.
make sure that we can kind of make the best out of this meeting.
If
If
you-
I have those plans
I'll-
readily available,
I will stop sharing if you can share. That'd be great.
give me 1 minute. I'll bring those plans up. Hold on 1 second. Okay. Go. Can you guys see my screen?
yep.
Yes. And so I don't forget, please email what you're sharing to the office. You can send them to Ellen, because we
Yep,
need
I
to
can
have
reply
a
to your
copy
email
of
that you sent.
everything that was presented in the meeting.
Sure. I can send you a copy of this existing floor
Great,
plans.
thank you.
So these are real estate plans. They're best for just understanding the overall layout of the space. So as you can see, the first floor plan, that's what's existing. The 2-car garage and the family room is where we're focusing our second story addition above, and then the carport go back on this side of the house. Kitchen area, like I explained, has a cathedral ceiling, hence why you can't really add that window into the storage area or egress window into that storage area. And then you have the dining room, the living room, and an existing office on the first floor. And then
Right. Yeah. So
Second.
that's 5, right?
Yep. And then in the basement, you have that playroom area plus that half bath that's there. And then the unfinished basement. The unfinished basement and the storage area are both unfinished.
So it's really 1 room and a half bath.
Correct.
And that was, I think our minutes from last time reflected that could never become a 3/4 bath, and then we'd have to deed record that room.
Right.
So I think for me, with the deed recording, ensuring that never becomes more than a half bath and that room downstairs, the usual sort of deed recording. And then sort of the adjustments we discussed to the second floor, I think I could get there. I would want to see sort of the revised plan.
Yeah, sure. We can get those revised. So what I can do is if with your permission, if you guys believe that taking that door out between the storage area and the new bedroom is a solution, what I can do is I can email these existing plans plus the revised set of plans to the office as soon as tomorrow and get the ball rolling forward pretty much.
How do others feel about that?
I
And let me
think
know if
it's
you need to-
okay. I'm having, yes, if we count the living space connected to the bedroom, or just looking at the living space on the second floor. There's the living
guys
and
wanna
the
see the
kitchen.
proposed
As long
plans?
as we count those as 2 rooms and the living area as the bedroom and the kitchen as a kitchen, because it's unusual. It's clearly a kitchen. Matt, I liked your comparison to a bathroom. But it is a kitchen, so we should count it as in the room count.
Yeah.
And that would help cover, I don't know if that covers all the possibilities in the future of that being a studio. I think so.
I think if we count it as 2 rooms, it's okay.
If it was cut off from the other bedroom at some point, it would be a studio. and then it would be a bedroom and a kitchen. So that might work. Okay,
Do you guys need to see the proposed plans again? I can pull those up as well. I actually have it if you need to see it.
are those rooms in the playroom, is there any walkout, or are those like the small
There is
basement
a
windows at the top?
That's a bulkhead door.
Okay,
The left
Is that the
side,
only door?
That is, yeah, that's the only exit out to the exterior.
and the windows are roughly what size in the playroom?
They're basement windows. They're the typical, like, think 30 inches wide by about 12 inches to 14 inches tall.
Okay,
Can't be an egress window unless you cut the foundation and you put an areaway.
okay. And is the storage area unfinished?
Yep, they're unfinished spaces.
Okay,
Yeah, you said the only finished space is the playroom, correct?
okay.
The only
And
finished space.
obviously the bathroom.
Okay, it'd help to have that storage labeled as unfinished as well.
Sure, I can.
That
type
way,
it in
when the
there.
deed recording, if we decided to go that route, says unfinished spaces shall remain so, and then the playroom shall be deed recorded as not to be used as a bedroom.
Yeah, we can definitely do that. That's an easy fix. I can put unfinished storage on that.
Yeah, I think that's important too, because our minutes of December 2nd say there were 2 existing basement rooms.
Yeah, I like I said, I can label that pretty easily.
And by unfinished, we mean like no, just the concrete floor and an unfinished ceiling or unfinished walls.
I think there's like a drop down ceiling in there just for lighting purposes.
And concrete walls, concrete floor.
I'm not sure about the floor. I cannot remember.
But the walls are sheetrock or,
Brett, can you chime in on that? I don't remember exactly if the walls were finished or not in that space.
I guess I'd have to check. I don't really think about it when I'm down there.
It could be deed recorded. It's not really something that's critical, but if we're going
Yeah.
to be recording basement rooms, we might as well include both if you have 2 finished basement rooms.
or maybe provide photos along with the unfinished designations for both those spaces.
So if in the deed, just to kind of, for some clarity, if in the deed we literally say that this is storage and this is the playroom, wouldn't that cover the fact that it will always just be that?
No, people like
No.
to make
Yeah.
offices and workshops and.
They could divide that room so easily. That's a huge
Yeah.
room. That's completely vulnerable to being subdivided. And like Daryl said, so the deed recording with a labeled figure that clarifies that the storage is unfinished, that other room is unfinished, that the currently unfinished rooms as depicted on that figure will remain unfinished, that the playroom will remain, a single room, all those things. It's basically like a cookbook that someone can follow and understand. Like you have to make it very explicit and clear so that there's no, room for confusion or error down the road. Or
And correct me if I'm wrong, but we can provide examples of what we've done before.
oh yeah. It's pretty
And we
Yeah.
would,
That's
but if that
That's fine.
room, if that storage room looks finished or is finished, then people will have the expectation that if they don't have as much to store, they could make it into something else. And so we often have people coming in with a layout of a house that they assume can be used in particular ways, and then they want to do something new. And then they come to us similar to this, and we say the septic doesn't match the house. And and people are pretty upset at that point. So we're trying to head that off by getting it accurate now so that future owners of the home understand what it's meant to be.
Sure. So just so that we're all on the same page, submitting these plans again, the existing plans of the entire house, and then labeling that as unfinished storage, and then the playroom obviously as labeled as playroom, and then the proposed plans that are done by us to show the changes of removing that door between the new bedroom and the storage area.
If I can add, I think pictures would be helpful, as Darrell noted, of the storage room and the playroom.
Right. Apparently in 2020, the unfinished basement space was noted as a bonus room. So that sounds like, is it unfinished or is it a bonus room?
We
So it
can
sounds like we just need-
confirm that and let you know.
It sounds like we just
Okay.
need pictures of the basement rooms,
Yeah.
these plans, pictures of the basement rooms, and an updated second floor plan.
Sure. In case that space is partially finished, what would be the next step? Are we still on path to still have the approval for the in-law suite? Or is there other changes that we would need to make in order to make sure that we can move forward with the proposed plan?
I think it would just change the deed recording.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which
So,
we don't like relying on deed recording. So it's always makes us uncomfortable to be squeezed into a deed recording as a way to get into compliance. Just so you know, it's not a comfortable situation for us. We have done it for others. I don't know that we've ever done more than 2 in a basement, though.
And also, I don't think we've ever called something partially finished. Like it's either finished or it's not. Like, so my recommendation would be, if it doesn't cause heartache, is we have had people literally unfinish a formerly partially finished space so that there was no confusion and clarity.
yeah, I would definitely need some feedback from the homeowners as to what they would want to do if it is a finished space already, unfinishing it, what that would kind of involve on their end, as using the space currently. But we can definitely start off with getting this labeled properly and revising the plans.
Okay.
Do you think
so
we
this-
have
And providing
necessity-
pictures. Yeah, photos.
pictures? Do you think there's a necessity to push this to a further meeting, or we can kind of get
We
administrative
do have
review
to
done?
have,
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
we
have
need
enough-
the final information that we're voting on. We can't really say, since we have some unanswered questions, we do need those cleared up. So we could put it on the next meeting, although that is very busy. What does the board think? Do we feel that we're close enough that it's not going to require as lengthy a discussion next time around?
I hope
That
so.
we could
I mean, I think if everything comes
squeeze
back
this
as
in.
expected, we can just sort of look at it and move on, hopefully.
Yeah.
And when
And
is this
certainly
next meeting?
if anything
2 weeks.
unusual pops up in, finalizing the information for us on these other levels of the floor plan, contact Mark about
Yep.
that.
No,
so
Mark
we
has
can-
been great. He's been really helpful with the entire process. So I can definitely, do you want me to send these to the office, or you want me to share these plans, the updated ones, with Mark?
Provide this to us because we need it just for the record for tonight's meeting. So
Yeah,
this
I know.
version,
If I
Provide
can
that.
get them, I can provide them to Mark as well. If he
Okay.
sends them to me.
And what I would say is there's so many documents on this. I do have documents from Brett back on July 10th of 2020 that shows the basement different from what's being shown on the real estate plans that were shown tonight. So I would suggest look at those. It does show a storage room, a bonus room, and a playroom in the basement. So I think the pictures will be very beneficial. And if they can take pictures of all 3 rooms, because that's how they were presented to us on a preliminary plan review. And that way we can wrap it all up together to make sure, if you need 3 rooms, maybe possibly deed recorded, you have 3 rooms in the basement. I don't think the room count in the basement will make a difference. It's just making sure we accurately know what's in the basement so it can be deed recorded, if the board agrees.
I think that sounds fine. But I think to answer the question, if you send everything to the office, Ellen will make sure Mark gets what he needs.
Yeah. It's good to go
Sounds
through
good.
Ellen because then she can keep track of everything that's going on and make sure everyone who needs something has it.
And it'll
And I
make sure
would
we have
also-
it all for the next meeting.
Yeah, and that's exactly right. I would ask that I can look at it, but I always refer it back to the board once it's under the Board of Health review.
Sure. Yep, that is definitely doable. We'll send it over to the office, Ellen, once we've updated the plans and have the pictures of the basement or the 3 spaces.
Okay, and as we get closer to the 18th, which is our next meeting, we'll try
18th
to
of January or 18th
of
February?
January. Yeah,
Okay.
January. We'll try to give you an idea of a time, whether we can fit you in between the start of the meeting and the first hearing. Otherwise, it'll be at the end of the 4 hearings. So we'll see if we can give you a sense of what we've got to tackle that night.
Okay, that's fine. As long as it's this month, that would be great. And you said the 18th, correct?
And then the other,
Typically,
just so we don't miss mentioning all your options, Mark alluded to the other thing that you could look at, which is, are there other options for septic expansion on the property?
there is, but the reason why we were kind of avoiding that was because of the costly nature of replacing the entirety of the septic system.
I understand
Where-
that. I'm just saying that it would give you all the flexibility for everything you are showing here without deed recordings and the rest. So merely mentioning it as an option, I can see that causes great distress. This was so funny.
We did it, remember? I presented it, I'm just getting frustrated, I'll step out, but we did it already.
Like we said, we want to make this as simple and easy for both the board and as well as the homeowners. So we're trying to make sure that we can come to a conclusion. I honestly believe that the solution that we have now is, again, this might be a really biased opinion, but I think it's a good approach to kind of balance the needs of the homeowners and as well as what the board is trying to achieve. But again,
Okay,
I'll get these over to you guys before the week's end. And if you guys have any questions, or Ellen, if you have any questions, just let me know and I can provide further information.
yeah. So the plans that we're looking at right now just need to get to us as soon as possible so we can wrap up the minutes. And
I'll
then
send
the
that to you
other,
right now.
as you have them ready, get them to Mark. Okay?
You said Mark, or you want me to send them to you? Because as far
Oh,
as
sorry, send it
Send
to
it to
Ellen
Ellen.
and she will get them to Mark.
sounds good. All right. Well, thank you very much,
right.
and appreciate all your help.
Okay, thank you. All right. Back to. Section 10.1.
Yeah, I actually have it pulled up if you want me to share it, Daryl.
Oh, yeah, that'd be great.
Let me just make sure I'm sharing the right thing. All right. Hopefully everybody's seeing that okay.
Yeah.
So the issue here was here under 10.1 well distance. And it was this use of this phrase, any private well or other private source of water supply to be used for drinking purposes or culinary uses. I think because this was copied earlier in the well regulations. And so I think we wanted to review this mostly because we wanted to ensure that basically to broaden this definition to just sort of say
Right.
any private well.
Yes.
Rather because then it would include irrigation wells or anything else.
Correct. Right.
I would actually have any well
Any
or
well,
other
yeah,
source of
Yeah.
water supply, period.
yeah, I think that sounds reasonable.
And
Sure.
take out private, because who knows what else is going to come along.
Yeah.
Like
And that makes it pretty
multi-housing.
broad.
Yeah.
And this
Okay.
could mean surface water source, not that we have it now, but who knows?
Right.
Well, that's
I think-
not
I
a
think-
well, but you're saying or other
Any
source.
well or other source of water
of
supply,
water supply.
period.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, okay, that's
Yeah.
good. My whole concern was just the broadening because of our issues
Yeah.
with irrigation wells. Yep.
Or, well, it does bring up a good question because it does say well distance. And right now we don't permit surface water sources. So what other
Yeah, I
possible
mean,
source could
I
it be
was
other
gonna
than a
say-
well? So maybe just any
Yeah.
well.
Any well,
period.
Any
period.
well, yeah, any well.
Yeah,
Because
I like
that way
that.
it's really about not tying it to a particular usage because our requirements for wells are the same
Yeah,
regardless of usage.
and even if it was a water supply only for cleaning purposes, because it's part of a business and they never
Right,
do
that's-
it,
that- we're
or
gonna get-
something
well-
else, I'd rather have it be.
So,
All
so,
right,
and we're
great.
getting rid of the rest of that sentence as well, just for
Yeah.
any well, period. And
Yeah.
then the whole rest of that
Yeah.
is gone.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's how I had it in the edits in my version.
Yeah,
So,
that's my recollection.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think we just had edited the earlier section. We just wanted to be sure that this was consistent. So I think that'll make it consistent.
okay,
All right.
And just so the board knows, just recently happened, I was questioned on a well's definition of domestic purposes when I was speaking with the past applicant for the well spigot, that was the water spigot that was going into the barn on a separate lot. He was just questioning that. So I explained to him, the domestic also means for drinking purposes for animals, as well as, I know this says drinking purposes of culinary use. It just came up at that discussion just to the last meeting. So I just want to let the board know that once in a while it gets questioned.
No, I think that's exactly why we want to avoid confusion. So. I think-
Yes, the simpler the better.
Yep.
You know,
All right. So this can go in
Right.
the pile of other regulation review we're gonna do. But this should be an easy one.
Yeah, this seems more straightforward. than
yes. How about that?
Happily.
Yep. All right, so I think. All right. All right, discussion of methods. To capture, and let's see, we had Tom, is
Yeah,
Tom
we-
still on?
Not anymore.
Yeah,
Yeah, we might want to.
I think. We
there
could,
is-
we could make it a requirement. It's weird, the way that the state regs are written for the well log says that everything should be completed, but they don't enforce that. So it's an informal agreement at the state level to not require GPS coordinates, but so we could add that we require it to ours, even though that is redundant in some respects. We shouldn't have to do that. But it's not always happening because we looked at a few recent well logs and we weren't seeing the coordinates on those logs. And in speaking with the state, again, they said that they're not enforcing that. So
Can we just require it like we were discussing as part of the as-built plans that the GPS
yeah,
coordinates?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that makes sense.
GIS coordinates.
Yeah, and there's
Okay.
a section on that well log, the state well logs that have a section there for the GPS coordinates. So I have noticed the majority of the reports coming in nowadays do have that GPS coordinate.
oh, good, okay.
Shouldn't it say GPS? Why does it say because GIS is just,
Yeah, that's my mistake.
okay.
I'm getting back into this.
Yeah, no, I'm not being critical. I'm just like, I'm pretty sure it should be GPS coordinates.
Although GIS uses lat long, right? So,
Yeah, it does, but GPS is like, I know like in other state regulations, it's GPS that's reference. That's what we
Okay.
call it too.
that's interesting because I would say on most forms that I fill out for other things across the US, it's, well, it really just says latitude and longitude mostly, never says GPS. So who knows? In any case, I guess that's the way we should just address it, as that's one more requirement to be on a site plan. Does that sound reasonable? And we could work out the details when everyone's fresh?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Or if someone would like to see where that fits in, have at it and bring it back to the board. Okay. So I think we've gone through everything. I'll contact planning board to see if they want to reschedule, not at the 18th, because I think that would be
Yeah,
impossible for us at the moment.
yeah. it's
Sound
unfortunate.
reasonable?
Yeah,
Anyone?
yeah.
All
Unfortunately,
right.
we can't be here tonight, but
Yeah. I think we have enough on our plate.
Yeah. Okay, so would anyone like to make a motion to adjourn the meeting?
so moves.
Checking in.
Assuming I'll hear no other discussion other than applause coming from
Yay!
Jeff. Uh,
Good
So,
job, guys.
Good. Matt
Nothing like
Beaver's
a-
eye.
I'm feeling that.
You get high marks for a 50-minute variance hearing.
Yeah, oh, yeah. Do we need to do a roll call to end the meeting?
Yep. yeah,
I
Matt
started
already
voting.
voted.
Oh, what do I say? Like,
You're up,
Lisa,
Lisa.
yes. Sorry, Matt, I didn't hear you.
Okay. I think we're
So-
on Rebecca.
I couldn't hear you at all. So I was waiting for you to vote. Did you vote?
I
I
voted,
voted,
Lisa
yeah.
voted.
Okay. Rebecca Honeywell. Aye.
And Daryl, aye. Thanks, everyone.
Have a
Thank
good night,
you.
everyone.
Night.
Happy New Year.
Another brain teaser evening. Bye.
Ciao, guys.
Bye.